Oh, did you do the upper level?
Alright. I'm ready if you're ready. So, again, there's three things basically in this unit. Normal CDF finds percentages. So percent above, percent below, percent between, percentiles. Percentiles is the same as which one? Percent above, below, or between? Percentile is percent below. I guess it is written right there. I didn't realize that. Use inverse norm if you're given the percentage, and then if you don't have percentages involved, it's probably a z-score formula, which this will be on the board. You don't have to memorize that, but you want to write it there just in case. Alright, so what is the percentage area between a z-score of 0.43 and a z-score of 1.33? And sketch it. I'm going to sketch it first. So it doesn't have to be any kind of fancy sketch. We don't even know the mean and the standard deviation, so I'm just going to write U on there. In the middle, that's the mean. And then the z-score of 0.43, I'm just looking to know that you know, is that above or below the mean if the z-score is positive? Above. So just go like somewhere over here and put like z equals 0.43. And then a little further above would be z equals 1.33. Gotta shade that in. So just start thinking about your answer. Should it be bigger or smaller than 50%? Should be smaller, right? Because like all the way above the mean 50%, but we're only looking for like a little piece of that. So you would type in normal CDF 0.43, 1.33. Why am I using normal CDF? I'm looking for percentages. Why am I not telling the calculator the mean and the standard deviation? Because I'm using z-scores because I don't know them. So it'd be kind of tough to do that. Type these in. Remember, if you have the kind that makes you put a mean and standard deviation, you put 0 to 1. So I get 0.2418, so like 24.2%, let's say. Is that okay with that? Yeah. Number 2. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I know, I can never tell if you're looking weird or not because of masks. I can see your face, it might not look weird, but your eyes, I wasn't sure. Negative z-score should be below the mean, positive z-score should be above, and your negative should be further away from the mean than the positive because negative 1.25 is further away from 0 than 0.36. Is it helpful if I write out like what I'm typing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So I get 0.535, like 53.5%. Is that okay? Alright, if I keep going, number 3. I know the mean and standard deviation now. So I can start my sketch. I didn't read the rest of the question yet. But mean is 57. Standard deviation is 6.5. So I want you to go, we're going to go 3 standard deviations each direction. Labeling. Leave myself very much room here. got a score of 65. That's my X bar, so your score is your X bar. And then percentile rank. So am I looking, first of all, normal CDF or inverse norm? Normal CDF, so I'm looking for a percent, and am I looking for the percent above or below? Percentile. Percentile is always below, so I want you to shade in this part. Represent, like, okay, we're looking for the part below that. And then just kind of think about your answer. Should it be bigger or smaller than 50%? It should be bigger because we're above the mean. So we're above 50% of the people right away, plus a little bit more. Use the normal CDF because I'm looking for percentiles. The lowest this could possibly go would be negative 999. I mean, it won't actually get there, but it's just safe to use that every time. And then I'm going to go up to 65. I'm going to tell the calculator the mean, and I'm going to tell the calculator standard deviation. So I get 0.891, which makes sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense. It doesn't not make sense, mostly. Like if I got 12%, that would be weird to me because we're above the mean. You guys get what I'm? Okay. Try it 4. Sorry, we still looking at it. There's a lot more space on the next page if you want. So that's what my sketch would look like. You put the mean, and then go 3 standard deviations up and 3 standard deviations down. I'm labeling the 2 X bars that I have. Normal CDF or inverse norm here? Normal CDF because I'm looking for percentages. So I'm going 229, 225, tell the calculator. The mean is 250 and the standard deviation is 30. So I get 0.7518 or like 75.2%. How's that? Gucci? People still say Gucci.
I do.
You guys do 5, 6, 7, and then 8 we're gonna probably need to do together.
Okay.
For these, don't worry about putting like the 3 standard deviations on there. Just kind of save some time because it's the same graph 3 times in a row. Just put like X bar. If I have you do sketches on the test, I'll be clear about like when I want them and when I don't. Well, that's your signature. Seriously, I have no idea. If you think so, guys.
No, I never.
Never said anything like that. So what? matches real quick, what should all three of those answers add up to? Should be 100%, right? So like above 75, between 65 and 75, and below 65. So eight's a little different. Middle 50% of men's ages. So that's the IQR basically, right? If I want the middle 50%, that's going to be between 25% and 75%. Does that make sense? Like it wouldn't be between 10 and 60. That's not the middle. It wouldn't be between 40 and 90. That's not the middle. You want the middle 50 would be like 25% each way from the middle. So over here, we want 25%. And we want 50% in the middle. And 25% over here. So I'm getting the middle 50%, which would leave 25% on each side. So now it's backwards because I'm giving you the percent. So now what am I going to use? I'm going to use the inverse norm. And to find this number right there, I'm going to do inverse norm of 1%. 25. So I'm putting 50% in the middle, but I can't really type this in. Like I can't type 50% because the calculator doesn't know I'm looking for the middle. So you got to go to the left-hand edge of it and find the 25th percentile. You can just think about it as finding IQR or Q1, 25% below. So inverse norm of 0.25, and then tell the calculator 70 and 6.3. So I get 65.75. I know the middle is 70. There's two ways you can find the other one. So you're basically looking for Q3. You could do inverse norm if it's Q3, what percentile am I looking for? 75. Or Q1 and Q3 have to be the same distance away from the middle. So Q1 is 4.25 below the mean. So doesn't Q3 have to be 4.25 above the mean? So I could just use like addition and subtraction. I know that's got to be 674.25 because that's the only way it's going to be equidistant from the middle. I could also do inverse norm 0.75. Now it's kind of weird because I set the middle 50% and we never typed in 50% in either of these spots. But if you notice how far apart are those two numbers? 50%, right? So that's kind of where it comes in. If I type this in, I would get 74.25 as well. So where's the what gauges to the middle 50% of men live? You're going to say between 65.75 and 74.25. So on the test, I put like between blank and blank, and you would fill in, hopefully, those two correct numbers there. Question on 8, because I'd say that's like one of the tougher ones for most people is that style. What if I said middle 60%? So you put 60% in the middle, then what would be on each two of these sides over here? 20. So here you type in inverse norm of 0.2 or 20, and here you type in inverse norm of, it'd be 80, right? You have the 60 in the middle plus the 20 below. That's just another way it could work. And there's another one or two of these on this packet too, so you can practice a little more. Number 10. So we got a mean of 1,500. Standard deviation of 250. I'm only really going to worry about putting the numbers above. 67th percentile. So is my answer going to be bigger or smaller than the mean? Bigger. 67th percentile is I'm better than average. 50 percentile is average. I'm 67. So then am I going to use normal CDF or inverse norm? Are you looking for the percent or did I give you the percent? I gave it to you. So if I give you the percentage, you're using inverse norm. Normal CDF finds percents. So if I already have it, I gotta go backwards and do the inverse or the opposite. Inverse norm, 0.67, it's all I calculated the mean. Standard deviation. I get like 1610 basically. 1609.97. So I would go over to sketch it, I would go like somewhere over here. A little bit bigger than 1,500 in shade, and that looks reasonable to me that would be 67%. A little bigger now. Or a little bit to the right of the mean, that matches up. We good on 10? Alright, 11, 12, and 13. You look through those, you'll notice I'm not giving you a percent. I'm not asking you for a percent. There's nothing to do with percent. So it's not normal CDF. It's not inverse norm. It's the z-score formula. So I'm just giving you, there's like 4 things in it. Z, I-bar, mean, and standard deviation. I'm giving you 3 of them, making you find the 4th. Have an algebra problem. 11, I don't need to do any algebra. Z-score tells us how many standard deviations we are away from the mean. So how many standard deviations am I away from the mean here? 0. So where am I? I'm 0 away from the mean. And the mean, which is 60. Here I gotta do some work. Raw score corresponding to the z-score. So raw score is x bar, right? I know everything else in that formula, so let's write it down. Sorry. And know the z-score is negative 1.51. Looking for x bar. I know from like up here the mean is 60. I know the standard deviation is 4.3. You guys with me? We good? And then what I would do is multiply both sides by 4.3. Or you can think about it like putting the left hand side over 1 and then cross multiplying. So I get x bar minus 60 equals 4.3 times negative 1.51. Negative 6.49. Before I do this, should my answer at the end be above or below the mean? Below what? Z-score is negative. That tells us we're below. So keep that in mind as you're going. I could easily see people like doing some math wrong here and getting 66.49. But that's above the mean, so hopefully that'll clue you in and be like, okay, wait, that doesn't make sense. So if you add 60 to both sides, that is 53.51. Don't worry about skip. So we have no room. But that's okay. Is that okay? 12? Do 13. Don't worry about skip. Trying to get across tomorrow. How'd you seed? You got one seed? Do you know your draw yet?
Yeah, we start with Deer River Shark, and then out of Movement, and then we do regular Brazil.
Have you played any of them before besides Brazil?
Yeah, Deer River Sharks.
Really? That's a nice start.
Yeah, that's a warm up.
You gonna win it?
You should.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
One double, one seed two.
Oh, really? Everybody else get a one seed?
No, two doubles around the two seed.
Okay. $13 okay? Questions on that one? Alright, 14 is a little tougher. We got two things going on. And kind of keeping organization of it is the most difficult part for some people. So I've got third world countries and industrialized countries. So I'm gonna make a little summary over here. Third world, the mean is 60. Standard deviation is 4.3. Industrialized, mean is 70. Standard deviation is 6.3. The man in the third world country lives to be 65. The man in the industrialized lives to be 72. So it's not who lived longer, because obviously 72 is bigger than 65. So who lived longer relative to their situation. So So what I want to do is find the z-score for both of these and the percentile for both of these. So I'm going to give you a minute to try that. Does that make sense how I'm organizing it and set it up? So try to find both those things. It's kind of a summary of. You have to turn your TV. So your z-score for the first one. I'll just write it down. Z is 1.16. So the third world person lived longer relative to expectations because they have a higher z-score. They're further above the mean. I do have to find the percentile still. That is normal CDF, negative 999, and then 1.16. And then you can do it two ways. You can type in 1.16 and just stop, or you could keep going. Oh yeah, I'll just do that. This is 87.7%. This is 62.4%. Question on how I got either of those two. What did you get this? What the hell is going on here? Where'd that come from? And then like this person lived on the test, I would like live larger. Relative. Alright. Go ahead and do 15. Don't do 17 and I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to make this a 2. Sorry, Trent. Trent's on number 25 already. So 15 should be 44.6. So we're going, I gave you the percent, so that means you use inverse norm. Then 0.14, so that'll calculate mean standard deviation. That should look something like that. 16 and 7, so change the, in 17, change the 10 to a 20. I didn't mean to ask the same percent, like 2 questions in a row. 17, change 10 to a 20. And then I just want to review, like, the top, when it says the top, so I'm going to sketch this first. I'm not even sketch the whole thing, but I'm looking for the top 10%. So I'm looking for, what is that z-score right here, where 10% of the people are higher than that. But if you remember, your calculator doesn't know what that means. Your calculator doesn't think in terms of above, it only thinks below. So when you go to do, so I gave you the percent, so you're going to do inverse norm. But if you put 0.1 for inverse norm, it's going to find this number over here. Because it automatically thinks you mean like below. So I'm not going to put 10%. What am I going to put? I'm going to put 90% or 0.9. So I'm going inverse norm of 0.9. I'll calculate 50 and 5. And this is where, like, really thinking about your answer, does it make sense or not? If I'm in the 90th percentile, like only 10% are above me, I should be above the mean. My score should be higher than the mean. So if you don't get a number higher than the mean, double check yourself. Yes. Think. Inverse norm of 0.9. So you get 1.28. So if I got a negative z-score, that wouldn't make sense because that would mean I'm way down here. It's not true that 10% of the scores are above like where my head is right now. So just keep that in mind. Like, check through your answer and make sure it makes sense. Same thing here. Top 20%. Well, if I'm looking for this spot where there's 20% above, I can't talk to the calculator that way. What am I going to tell the calculator? 80% or 0.8. Inverse norm of 0.8. Now I'm looking for the raw score, so now I'm going to put in the 50 and 5. So I get 54.2. And then try 19 or try 18. We haven't done it already. So we did one similar. That's the same as saying what's the middle 50%. Don't forget to subtract them. I could see, like, on the test you get these two and you're like all proud of yourself because you did. But that's like the hard part, right? And then you just like stop. But the IQR would be subtracted then to get the difference between them. So middle 50% is the 75th and the 25th percentile. So if you got 50% in the middle, here is 0.25, here is 0.75. And that's the two numbers we want. That's why I put 0.25 and 0.75. Questions there? So a few of you like came up individually and were like, "Yeah, I'm confused on this stuff. Like Friday was confusing. You were here yesterday. Does this help?" Very cool. So hopefully the AP packet will go smooth. I don't think it's any harder than this stuff.